Hey YouTube, Kenny Tony coming at you today. We got this quick video for you. So some of you have reached out to me in the comments and asked me some questions about the LTR 474 and kind of wanted to know where we're at with it, why you haven't seen any videos of it. Today we're going to kind of go over what we've done on camera, kind of what we've done off camera, and what's holding us up. As always, everyone, thank you for checking out this video. Hit that like button, subscribe down there, share this video. It helps the YouTube algorithm and it gets this video out to more people like yourselves who are kind of interested in it. But we have the LTR 474 sitting back here and it is just waiting on the freaking head. It's been forever. So we're out at about 3 months and still don't really have any kind of update of what we're going to be done with the head. I understand people are busy. I understand things, but a little annoyed with it. But let's go ahead and get the camera off stand and we'll talk about what we got going on with this machine. All right, so here we go. So basically we got the 474 sitting behind us. And I guess everyone in the world isn't kind of like me. I document what I do to these machines just in case in the future if I decide to sell it. When you message me and say, hey, you got any pictures of it, I'll send you a whole playlist. You can see exactly where it started from, where it's ended at, what's been done in between, and where we're at with the machines. But everybody just doesn't like to keep their word. So I'm not on this as a social media platform. I won't tell anybody about who's doing the bore or anything like that or who's doing the head work. However, it's out there waiting. It's been 3 months and I really have minimal communication and minimal expectation of what it's going to cost. So the first was, hey, it needs ported and polished. I want to get it ported and polished. And I'm just going to throw out some irrational numbers. So say, for example, you told me it was going to need poured and polished and you're going to do it and it was going to be $700, which is not the real thing. Then when you get it, month goes by, I send a message and I'm like, hey, it's been delivered. Have you had a chance to look at it? I'm actually looking at it on the table. And I was like, all right, you know, and they were just like, hey, it's a mess. And I was like, it's a mess. 3 weeks later goes by. The cam journals need to be redone. Okay, so is that something you can do? Any update? 2 weeks later goes by again. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can get that taken care of. I'll know something in the next couple of days. 4 weeks later goes by. I'm gonna have to have those welded. I'm like, what are we looking at as far as cost? Like, what are we getting into? Because, you know, my original, what did I say, $700, whatever. Now I know it's not the same because you still now just like, oh yeah, and your valves that were in it are good, but it has the wrong springs. I'll recommend changing the springs and the valves. And I'm just like, you know, we went from 700 possibly up to, you know, $1,500 and I don't know what's going on. But anyways, the communication is not great. I don't know if it's just me or what, but I'm very good on my communication. So my thoughts are, if I say it's going to be 3 weeks, 3 weeks comes around and you reach out or I reach out and say, hey, what's the progress? And you say, hey, I'm sorry, got behind, it's going to be another 2 weeks. But as long as we have communication going back and forth over what the expectations are, I'm fine. When I have no communication, it kind of just gets annoying. But anyways, let's get this camera flipped around and we talk about what we got sitting back here behind us. And as you all see, I'm a little bit irritated over not having a head, and that's kind of like the only thing that's holding us up with this. All right, so here we are, LTR 474. So as you can see, we have it done the illusion orange. Everything looks really good. We still have the steering stem. Everything is in there as we go. So one of the bigger changes that we've done is we pretty much assembled the motor down in there while it's been in the frame. So the motor has had the Scotch-Brite wheel go across the one side of it over here, this cover side on this side. The cases are just soda blasted, so they look pretty good. But we got the kicker from the, I think it's RM250, and we put that on the splines, as well as we put a little spacer in there. And that little spacer, as you can see, is enough. It doesn't rub. It's got one of those little locking keys in there, but it will not let the kicker hit right here. So the kicker clears now. We have the JE piston in there, and it's at a 98 millimeter. I did not go to 100. I didn't need to go to 100 when I bought this machine. It already had that bigger piston in it. I just went ahead and replaced it with a higher compression one and wanted to have the head work done. But I went with something reputable like a JE piston. I was wanting to do a stroker, but decided not to do it. So here we are with it. I did go ahead and reinstall the new chain, and I think it was 520 chain, X-ring. We have 38 or 37 in the rear and 13 up front, so we dropped one tooth in the front. Everything looks good. Yoshimura pipe and everything on there. We did go ahead and reinstall the wiring harness, and what I'm doing is I got to wait to make sure I get this wired up correctly, because I want to wire up the kill right here, the kill plug, and I'm just going to have the starter right here, the actual, let me see, hold on, this was the start button that I'm going to remove because it's going to be kickstart and it's going to have no battery. So I already have the capacitor here and it's wired in such. If that looks wrong, just let me know. I'm pretty sure it's right. I have it wired into the red one down by the fuse, and looks like that's a black and white, but just extended it out and put some plugs on there so I can remove it. Yeah, basically once we get the head back on there, I'm going to be able to put the Yoshimura. I have the Yoshimura valves as well, the Yoshimura cams as well. So once we get the cams and all that stuff reinstalled, I already have the header pipe for the full Yoshi header pipe, and I just got to reassemble basically everything that's here. It just won't have plastics on it. Then I'm going to send it off to someone to get, or I'm going to take it somewhere to get dynoed to make sure my programming and mapping is all correct. However, the person who was doing my head was the person who I had agreed to do that, but now it's kind of like, you know, I'm kind of annoyed with it. But we'll see what happens. You know, maybe once I get that back, progress will go well. And who knows? People get COVID. Maybe this person's in the hospital. I don't want to sound like a butt. Yeah, everything looks really, really good and really tight. I actually like this lever enough that I went ahead and I bought one from my YFZ, just because it's adjustable, so you can decrease and increase the reach. But, you know, I really like it that it's adjustable. It's got that pivot there. We tightened the slack in the rear chain and went ahead and tightened it down. We used a nylon locking nuts back here in the back. We found a OEM chain slider and went ahead and reinstalled that. So everything looks great. Shifter's in there. I just went ahead and hit it with the wire wheel and cleaned it up. But overall, we're basically just waiting. One of the other things that I did, just small touches that I did that people have recommended online, I did put the LTR or the LTZ 400 arm here, so it's slightly longer, and so it gives a little bit less, you know, from pulling down here, you give it a little bit longer. And this is the 400 clutch cable. My plans is to put a ASV lever of some sort up here, or there's a couple other levers that I was looking at, but I can't remember the name of them off the top of my head. So that's it, where we're at. I'm going to be running the engine ice in here, I'm thinking. Yeah, I think that's gonna be my plan. I'm gonna put the engine ice in there, or I'm gonna run like the Evans waterless coolant. Typically I run that in my side-by-sides or bigger machines and things, but you know, it'd be great for a dirt bike because dirt bikes don't have fans, they get hot and they boil over, and the waterless will not boil over. I mean, it will, but it's insane high temperature. But yeah, new tires, bead locks, everything. It's just ready for some daggone head work. And I got my friend's Raptor sitting back there, and this one should be going out of here next week. But yeah, we're getting things moving along. Just closing it down for Christmas. So my other videos that we're gonna be having in the future are probably gonna have crazy like snow and minimal light. But you know, it is what it is. I enjoy it. So make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, everyone, and we'll see you at the next